130 million light-years away, two neutron stars are spiraling toward each other at a significant fraction of light speed. Each one carries more mass than the Sun, compressed into a sphere the size of Manhattan. They've been falling to this moment for 800 million years. In Livingston, Louisiana, a scientist is running calibration tests on a laser beam 4 kilometers long. No one there knows it yet. The neutron stars close the final gap in 11 milliseconds. The instrument twitches, space itself begins to ring. Her screen floods with data, and for the next few seconds, the hottest sustained natural temperature in the observable universe burns at levels that make stellar cores look frozen by comparison. What happened in that collision and why it matters to the gold on your finger reveals something profound about temperature itself. Here's the principle that explains everything you're about to learn. Temperature is a measure of how energy is distributed among a system's degrees of freedom. In a gas, this means faster moving particles. In denser matter, it involves more complex interactions. The universe has discovered increasingly violent ways to concentrate energy in matter, pushing particles to speeds that approach the fundamental limits of physics. Understanding this relationship, temperature as concentrated energy, unlocks why the hottest places in the universe are also the most creative. But first, you need to understand why the obvious answer is wrong. The surface of the Sun burns at about 5,800 Kelvin. Hot enough to vaporize steel, certainly, but the Sun's surface is practically room temperature compared to what happens inside. Drop toward the core, and the temperature climbs to 15 million Kelvin. At that heat, hydrogen atoms slam into each other fast enough to overcome their electrical repulsion and fuse into helium, releasing the energy that keeps you alive. 15 million degrees sounds extreme. It's not. The Sun is a cosmic lightweight. The largest stars, blue supergiants 50 or 60 times the Sun's mass, run their hydrogen-burning cores at 40 to 80 million Kelvin, climbing toward 200 million Kelvin during helium burning and reaching 600 million to 1 billion Kelvin during carbon burning. And here's where temperature becomes destiny. These massive stars burn through their hydrogen in a few million years, not billions. When the hydrogen runs out, the core contracts, heats further, and begins fusing helium into carbon. When helium runs out, the core contracts again, hotter still, fusing carbon into oxygen, then oxygen into silicon, then silicon into iron. Each contraction raises the temperature. Each new fuel burns faster than the last. A star that spent 10 million years burning hydrogen will burn through its silicon in a single day. And then something catastrophic happens. Iron is the end of the line. Unlike every element before it, fusing iron doesn't release energy, it absorbs it. Once the iron core grows too massive, electron captures and photodisintegration rapidly drain pressure support. The degeneracy pressure that held the core up against gravity fails, and in less than a second, the core collapses. The outer layers of the core, a mass greater than the Sun, fall inward at 70,000 kilometers per second. In a tenth of a second, they slam into the collapsed core and rebound. The temperature at the center of this collapse reaches 100 billion Kelvin, 100 billion degrees. That's 10,000 times hotter than the core of the Sun at its peak. At this temperature, the matter doesn't just vibrate, it disintegrates. Atoms cease to exist. Protons and neutrons collide so violently they form extremely hot, dense nuclear matter flooded with neutrinos. Some models suggest this matter may briefly dissolve into a plasma of quarks and gluons, the fundamental building blocks of nuclear matter, though this remains unconfirmed. The rebound from the collapsed core launches a shock wave, but that shock stalls. Neutrino heating and turbulent instabilities must revive it to finally tear the star apart. This is a supernova. In a few seconds, a single dying star releases more energy than the Sun will produce in its entire 10 billion year lifetime. But here's the part that matters for understanding the hottest thing in the universe. A supernova core hits 100 billion Kelvin and remains at tens of billions of degrees for seconds to tens of seconds as it cools by neutrino emission. It's violently hot, but relatively brief. If you're looking for extreme heat on even larger scales, you need something different. You need two neutron stars to collide. A neutron star is what remains after a supernova strips away a massive star's outer layers. The core, compressed beyond atomic matter, becomes a ball of neutrons packed so tightly that a sugar cube-sized chunk would weigh as much as Mount Everest. These objects are typically only 20 kilometers across, smaller than most cities, but contain 1 to 2 solar masses of material. When two neutron stars orbit each other, they gradually spiral inward, losing energy to gravitational waves. This process takes hundreds of millions of years, but it's inexorable. And when they finally touch, the temperatures make supernovae look gentle. The collision compresses matter that was already the densest stable state possible. The neutron stars don't merge smoothly, they slam together, interpenetrate, and generate shock waves that accelerate particles to relativistic speeds. The temperature in the collision zone reaches somewhere between 300 billion and 1 trillion Kelvin, 1 trillion degrees, 10 times hotter than a supernova core. Hot enough that neutrons and protons may dissolve back into quark-gluon plasma, the state of matter that existed in the first microseconds after the Big Bang, though whether true deconfinement occurs remains unconfirmed. This is, as far as astronomers can determine, the hottest sustained natural temperature in the current universe. Not the brief flash of a supernova, but a churning cauldron of matter so hot it forgets how to be matter at all. And here's where this extreme temperature creates something essential: heavy elements. The periodic table has a problem. Fusion in stars can build elements up to iron, that's where fusion stops releasing energy, but the universe contains gold, platinum, uranium, and dozens of other elements heavier than iron. Where do they come from? The answer was theoretical for decades. They must form in explosions violent enough to force extra neutrons into atomic nuclei faster than those nuclei can decay. This process, called rapid neutron capture, or the R process, requires conditions so extreme that neutrons are sprayed onto nuclei like water from a fire hose. Supernovae were the original suspect, but the numbers never quite worked. Supernovae produce some heavy elements, but not nearly enough to explain the abundance of gold and platinum in the galaxy. Neutron star mergers were the alternative hypothesis. When neutron stars collide, they spray neutron-rich matter into space at close to the speed of light. This matter, still carrying the extreme heat of the collision, undergoes rapid neutron capture on a massive scale. But this was just theory until August 17, 2017. That morning, the LIGO and Virgo gravitational wave detectors picked up a signal. Unlike the black hole mergers they'd detected before, this signal lasted longer, about 100 seconds of two objects spiraling together. The frequency and evolution of the signal pointed to neutron stars, not black holes. Within 1.7 seconds, gamma-ray detectors on Fermi and Integral registered a short burst from the same patch of sky. About 11 hours later, after follow-up searches, astronomers found something extraordinary: a new point of light in a galaxy 130 million light-years away, glowing with the radioactive decay of freshly forged heavy elements. For the first time, astronomers had direct evidence that the hottest sustained natural temperatures in the universe forge heavy elements. Gold among them, inferred from the kilonova's glow and spectral signatures. The kilonova, the explosion following a neutron star merger, glowed red and faded over 2 weeks. Spectroscopic analysis confirmed the presence of heavy elements spraying outward. Calculations suggested this single event produced about 10 Earth masses of gold and several Earth masses of platinum. Much of the gold on Earth was likely forged in events like this one, billions of years ago, in collisions hot enough to dissolve matter into its fundamental components, though other rare R process sites may also have contributed. But here's where the story takes an even stranger turn. Neutron star mergers may be the hottest sustained natural temperature in the universe, but they're not the hottest temperature ever achieved. That distinction belongs to something far smaller and far closer to home. Beneath the French-Swiss border, the Large Hadron Collider accelerates lead ions to 99.9999998% the speed of light and smashes them together. In the collision point, for a duration measured in trillionths of a second, the temperature reaches 5.5 trillion Kelvin, 5 trillion degrees, 5 times hotter than a neutron star merger. Hot enough to recreate the quark-gluon plasma of the universe's first microsecond. But there's a crucial difference. The LHC creates this temperature in a volume smaller than an atomic nucleus, for a duration too brief to measure with conventional instruments. A neutron star merger creates temperatures in the hundreds of billions of Kelvin across a region the size of a city, sustained for seconds. Which one is truly the hottest thing in the universe? It depends on what you're measuring, peak temperature or total thermal energy. The LHC wins on peak temperature. A neutron star merger wins on scale and duration. Both recreate conditions that haven't existed naturally since the universe was less than a second old. And this brings us back to the conceptual spine. Temperature reflects concentrated energy. The LHC creates extreme temperatures by accelerating particles with electromagnetic fields. Neutron star mergers create them through gravitational compression and collision. The Sun creates its relatively modest temperatures through the slow squeeze of gravity over billions of years. The universe has multiple mechanisms for accelerating particles, and each creates its own temperature regime. Gravity, electromagnetism, and nuclear forces all contribute to the thermal zoo of the cosmos. But what about the beginning? At the moment of the Big Bang, if the concept of a moment applies, temperature calculations become meaningless. The earliest time physicists can meaningfully discuss is the Planck epoch, roughly 10 to the minus 43 seconds after whatever started the universe. At that moment, the temperature was approximately 10 to the 32 Kelvin, a 1 followed by 32 zeros. This temperature is so extreme that the very concepts of space and time as separate entities may not have applied. Quantum effects dominated gravity. The four fundamental forces may have been unified into a single interaction. No experiment can recreate these conditions. No particle accelerator humanity could build would approach within a quadrillion times this energy. So the true hottest thing in the universe was the universe itself in its first heartbeat of existence. Everything since has been cooling down. This is the ultimate trajectory of cosmic temperature, from incomprehensibly extreme heat near the Big Bang, so extreme that our theories break down before they can describe it, through the gradual cooling as space expanded, to the narrow temperature bands where chemistry becomes possible and life can emerge. Stars are local reheating events, temporary reversals of the universal cooling trend. Supernovae and neutron star mergers are the hottest of these reversals, brief echoes of the primordial fire. And from those echoes, everything you are was forged. The hydrogen in your body was created in the Big Bang itself. The carbon in your cells was manufactured in stellar cores at about 100 million degrees. The oxygen you're breathing came from the same process. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, these were synthesized during explosive oxygen and silicon burning at a few billion degrees, with much of the cosmic iron coming from type 1a supernovae. But the gold in any jewelry you own, that required something hotter still. That required 2 neutron stars to spiral together over hundreds of millions of years and collide at a significant fraction of light speed, creating temperatures where matter may dissolve into quarks, where rapid neutron capture can spray heavy elements into space. You are wearing the debris of the hottest sustained temperatures in the current universe. This is the profound answer to the question of what's hottest. The universe uses extreme heat as a forge. The creative moments of cosmic history, the Big Bang, stellar nucleosynthesis, supernovae, neutron star mergers, are all temperature extremes. Cool matter is stable matter, hot matter is transforming matter. And the most extreme transformations, requiring not just heat but the right density and neutron flux, can create the heaviest elements of all. The next neutron star merger detectable from Earth could happen tomorrow or might not occur for another decade. But when it does, gravitational wave detectors will ring, telescopes will pivot, and astronomers will watch the hottest thing in the observable universe forge gold and platinum in real time. Somewhere in a galaxy not yet identified, two neutron stars are spiraling toward each other right now. They've been falling toward their collision for longer than Earth has existed. When they finally meet, the temperature will briefly exceed almost any natural temperature in the current universe, rivaled only by another merger happening somewhere else, or by the microscopic fireballs of particle colliders here on Earth. And the heavy elements they create will eventually find their way into new solar systems, new planets, and perhaps new civilizations who will ask the same question you just had answered. What's the hottest thing in the universe, and why does it matter? The answer is that you're made of it. Subscribe for more. We release new videos every week.